Hey guys, and welcome to Witchin, the Bitchin, the podcast. I'm your host, Darren.
I'm Vicky. How are you? Sorry, I went back to it. I can't help it. I need to say it. I need to say it.
Oh, you are so funny. You are so funny. So, for today's episode, I hope you guys have had an amazing Halloween in Beltane. So, today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about something that I find pretty interesting because it's especially around this time of year with, all the Halloween stuff that's going on, everything else like that. Like, I know that we're in the Southern Hemisphere, but a lot of people look for signs and omens out in the wilderness, especially when they're doing like divination around the big fire festivals. So today's episode is literally going to be about signs, omens, angel numbers, and that kind of stuff.
It kind of ties in a little bit with superstitions and things as well. They're a little bit in there. So
yeah.
Hey, I'm excited.
So I thought, okay, let's be academics, right? So
okay, let's do that.
So first of all, let's go with some dictionary definitions. I know my husband's going to hate that I'm starting with this. He hates every training session that starts with a dictionary definition. But I don't care because this is my podcast. So whatever.
That's right. We can do whatever we like. And it's always nice to have that baseline.
Yeah. So an omen, which is a noun, for those that
look, you really are going into it. I like it.
So an omen is an event regarded as a portent of good or evil. Otherwise, it could be something of prophetic significance. Similarly, a sign, which is also a noun, is an object, quality, or event whose presence or occurrence indicates the probable presence or occurrence of something else.
A lot of probable occurrences of something else that indicates this.
Exactly.
I love it.
So essentially, but before we get into the nitty gritty, I want to do something a little bit fun. So let's just do a little bit of a journey through some of the signs that people consider to be like bad luck signs or bad omens or, things that when you see them, things could go wrong. Because these are like widely accepted, like I guess they're built into the mythos of the world. Yeah. A lot of them you'll recognize. So I've prepared a list, Vicky.
Oh, look at you. I'm rubbing off on you. Look at you. Oh, prepared. I love it.
Bloody air signs rubbing off into the water sign.
I love it.
So first one is breaking a mirror.
Yes.
It apparently gives you 7 years bad luck.
7 years bad luck. Yes.
I don't know if I believe it though.
I don't know. I've broken a few mirrors.
Oh, and have you had bad luck as a result?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I was quite distraught because always it was like a good mirror that I wanted.
So it's more the bad luck. I
don't want it. Yeah.
Now this one's an interesting one. I have not heard of this one, but then I looked into it. So when you have a bird or a flock of birds flying from left to right, it's considered a bad omen. But from right to left is considered a good omen.
I had no idea about that.
But what happens when you and someone?
Oh yeah, because then you're opposites.
And then you see them flying through the middle of you.
Oh, because then it's bad luck for one and good luck for the other.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, I don't know if I believe in that one.
Yeah, that's a bit of
that and also denotes like what denotes left and right? Like, is it your left and right, or is it the bird's left and right? Like, who's left and right?
Yeah, see, the left and right thing is always a bit of it's always a hard one. Whose perspective is the left and right from? Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Not sure.
Now this
one I like it though.
This one is specific to Japan. So I knew this. That the numbers 4 or 9 are considered bad omens. Now, I also know that the number 42 is considered bad luck in Japan because so in Japanese language, so shi, which is the number 4, so shi, when you say 42 or 42, it's shi ni, and shinimasu means to die.
Oh, shit.
So shi ni, so if you say 42, but you would never say it like that because you would actually say 42. Yes. But anyway, but if you say 42, so shinimasu means to die. So shinimasu. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that one.
That's interesting.
Now, this one is very widely accepted. So the number 13.
Yes. This is
how many people think that this is an unlucky number? And in actual fact, this is episode 13.
Oh, yay!
So those
your face, Omens.
but those who are scared of the number 13 may not
Yeah.
listen to this episode.
I know. Yeah, there is a really big thing, like the 13th floor on hotels and things like that.
Most of them don't have one.
Yep, they don't have one.
So,
It's such
and
a big thing.
did you know that there's actually a name for it if you're scared of the number 13 or if you avoid 13? So it's actually called, hang on, I'll try to say this, triskaidekaphobia. So that's to be scared of the number 13. But see, I actually have some friends that they were born on Friday the 13th. So in actual fact, yesterday, by the time this airs, yesterday was actually, wait, is it yesterday? No.
I'm not sure.
This is episode 13. So it's actually this coming Friday. So in 2 days' time, because this is airing on the 11th of the 11th.
That's right. Yep.
So it's going to be this Friday. Is Friday the 13th. So I actually think it's a lucky. Like I like Friday the 13th, but I'm also into the creepy and weird stuff. So
yeah, me too. It doesn't really bother me because isn't there now? I didn't fact check this before I did, but there's 13 moon cycles in a year. See, so for that, I'm like, and there's a lot to do with 13, like in Coven and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So nah, that one never seems to worry me.
But now the number 13 isn't around the whole world. Most countries do think that it's unlucky, but then in Italy, the number 17 is considered unlucky.
Oh, really? I like 17.
And in Afghanistan, Afghanistan is actually the number 39.
Wow.
Yeah. Like for reading, I'm like, what? What do you mean? But I'm sure if we speak to an Afghan, they'd be like, no to 39. Because it's apparently their bad omen.
Wow. I love that.
Obviously, speaking about Friday the 13th, did you know that in Spain, Greece, and Georgia, it's actually Tuesday the 13th that's unlucky, not Friday?
What? Oh my God, I love that.
I don't know the reason why.
Yeah, what's the Tuesday?
I don't know the reason. I could Google it, but like that's not.
No,
I'll let our viewers.
Go ponder on that one. That's brilliant. I love it.
Now this is another number that's up for a bit of contention.
Ooh,
the number 666.
Yeah, that's always the one, isn't it?
So they say that it's the devil's number and it's the calling sign of the devil or all that stuff. But there's also a phobia for that as well because
I love it. Is there?
And this is like for hardcore like Judeo-Christian people who believe in Satan and 666 and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's called, hang on, hexacosioi hexaconta hexaphobia.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think it means 600, 610, and 6.
Yeah, all the sixes.
Yep. I don't know if anyone pronounces that better than me, but that's my attempt at saying it anyway.
That's awesome.
Now, here's one that'll take you back to your childhood. Not replying to a chain letter.
Oh, yes.
But the modern version of that is, you know, those things people forward to you on Facebook and say, send this to all the people and back to the person who sent it to you. And if you don't, then you're going to have bad luck. I'm just like, delete.
I'm the same.
Bring it on, universe. Bring it on.
Bring it on. I know. I'd be like, do I want a temp fate though? I'm like, oh no.
I remember when I was a kid.
And I'd send it. I would always do it. And then as it's gone on now, I'm just like, don't send me. I'm not even opening it. I'm not looking. It was
just always so annoying because you had to like write down the address of your address, return to sender, and then the addresses of the previous people. Because there was that one where you had to like send it to 5 people, and also send it backwards to the.
It had to go back to the people before,
and I'm like,
and then it would go somewhere else. And
then it's just fucking annoying because then you're getting mail. Like if you send it to 5 people and they send it to 5 people and they send it to 5 people, and then those
I don't know. There's
5 send it to 5 is 25. Send it to 5 is 125 people are going to be sending you fucking mail with the same chain letter. No.
Just no.
That's the bad luck.
It is. That's it. And you know what? I was too lazy. There was no way I was sitting there writing that many letters.
Photocopy.
Just photocopy them. Just sneak into the library.
Now, this one is, I know of this one. So in East Asian culture, so specifically China, but it's also in any Chinese-speaking country usually has this one. So giving a clock or a watch to a Chinese person, very bad omen. Because
really?
Giving them a clock or a watch is implying that they're always late.
Oh.
So even though some anniversaries and stuff for Westerners, it's like customary to give a watch or something. If you do that to a Chinese person, they're like, because that they take a major offense because it's like you're saying you're always late. You need to be more on time. Yeah, that you're not productive enough. No time management.
I like that, how it has a meaning though, like how it has like the reasoning behind it. Gosh, someone needs to give me a watch. I am always late. I wouldn't be offended.
If anyone wants to send a watch, we'll put her address in there. No, I'm just joking. That's it. We'll put her address so you can send her chain mail.
No, I'm too lazy.
Okay, so the next one, this is now for Greek Orthodox people. So for them, it's actually considered a bad omen to see a priest in the street. So it's a bad omen. So if they see the priest outside of the church, so just in the street walking around, then they have to say skorda, which means garlic. So they usually utter that under their breath. As I don't know why. I'm gonna need to. If anyone out there is Greek and knows, can validate this one, can you let us know why skorda? Like, because that's like garlic. Is it like a priest vampires? Or...
No, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, isn't that like the stereotypical vampire thing? I'm like, what's with the garlic?
Yeah, so I don't understand that, but anyway, that's one that I found.
And the poor priest, like, dude, he can't go out of the church.
Now, this one's actually quite common as well, especially around weddings. Well, weddings, it's more about having a horseshoe.
Yes.
But hanging a horseshoe the wrong way. So if you hang a horseshoe that way, so the U is pointing like the opposite way to a U.
Prongs are down.
Yeah. Then that's considered bad luck because all the luck will fall out of the horseshoe. Yes. But if you hang it the right way, which is like a U shape, then it's a good luck. Because it's catching the luck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, how many times have you opened an umbrella indoors?
I never do.
You never, ever?
Nope.
Not even if it's like torrential downpour?
Nope.
You always go outside and get wet first and then open it?
Well, I just shove it. I can be inside, but I shove the umbrella outside to open it and then I walk in underneath it. I know I can be. I have some of those weird little superstitions and things I do.
I want you to open umbrella now.
No, I can't. Can't do it. Just one of those things, like I think it comes also back from like my childhood and stuff, like when mum used to say it and things like that. Like I still do it now. Like never do that. You never do that, and you never stand on the grates in the street.
Oh, you know why that is though?
Yes, I don't fall in it.
No, people used to piss in them.
Oh, really?
Like back in the day, that was like a outdoor toilet. Yeah, especially like if you go to. So if you travel a lot and you go to lesser developed countries, that's literally people will pee on the grates. So like I don't stand on them because I'm like, ew.
Oh, okay. I get that one now. I'm okay with that.
Well, I don't know if that's where it stems from. I don't know if that's where it stems from, but that's the reason I'm going.
Yeah, I like that one.
Now this is specific to the Navajo culture, so Native American Navajo.
Yeah.
So I don't know the reason for these. It's something they came across with bad signs or bad omens.
Yeah.
So pointing at a rainbow, throwing rocks into the wind, if a coyote crosses your path while you're traveling north, or if an owl is flying over your house, these are all considered bad omens.
Oh.
So if we have any Native Americans out there or anyone that has any connection to the Native American community, we could Google this, but it's more fun if we hear from you. So
yeah, and then you never know when you Google stuff whether it's
just because it's on Google doesn't mean it's
it doesn't mean that it's so we'd love to hear.
Now, so here's another food-related one because I know we like to eat.
Ooh, yes,
and this one I'm very aware of because when you travel to East Asian countries, so anywhere that has rice and eats with chopsticks, you never stand the chopsticks up in the bowl of rice.
Oh, really?
You should always lay them. They usually have that little
the little
thing that you lay them on.
Sit them on. Yeah.
I call it like the ceramic pillow or whatever. Like I call it my little chopstick pillow.
What it is.
So because if you stick them into the bowl, it looks like a bowl of ash with incense in it, which is considered to be a symbol of death. Because that's what they do when they're like going to cemeteries and stuff to honor the dead.
Yeah.
So and I've seen so many of my friends, non-Asian friends, who have done that in restaurants, and I straight away I'm like, I take the chopsticks out and lay them down. They're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You don't do that in a Chinese restaurant, like ever." Yeah,
I had no idea.
You can actually really freak out the staff if you do it, like because they very much like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Wow, I love that.
Now,
I mean, When I say I love that, I just find all this stuff
It's fascinating. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
So in a lot of cultures, ravens, crows, and magpies are considered bad omens. But for our witchy folk, like, no, bring on the crows, bring on the ravens, bring on. Well, we live in Australia, so it's now magpie season.
Yes,
So
they're everywhere.
if that was a bad omen, you would just not leave your house because magpies are swooping now.
Yeah, that's it.
I believe. No, I don't know if I didn't fact check this one, but I
maybe
believe
that's the bad omen.
Oh, because you're going to get swooped.
Because they swoop all the time. That's maybe what it is.
But I believe that like it would have something to do with, obviously, because I see a lot of crows and ravens and stuff like when it's like midnight, like because obviously they're scavengers, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's because of their connection to the underworld deities.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with that. And like you said, being the scavengers, they often also like scavenge. I can't think what the correct term is, but roadkill. Basically, and scavenging that. So I think there's a lot of death association.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what it is. And some people think that it is a bad omen, that death's coming, somebody's going to die, or all of those kind of things.
And so for our theatre folk, really like it's a massive superstition. Is saying the words Macbeth. And also,
Macbeth one.
Yeah, I did, because we did Macbeth at school, and we weren't allowed to say the word Macbeth because apparently the story goes something along the lines of this: is that I think the lead star of Macbeth died or something, and then there was
he did
cursed play, and then anytime someone said Macbeth, then someone would die or something would happen to them, and so like this chain of events that now you can't say Macbeth in a theater, and you can also you should never say good luck. You always say break a leg.
Break a leg, yes.
Which I always found so stupid. Like, why are you telling them to break their leg when if you say good luck, then it's more likely they're going to break a leg? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't quite get that one.
But
I don't understand.
I didn't write them, guys. These are just the things I found.
That's right. That's just what we found.
Now, this one I thought was just common sense, but putting shoes on a table.
Yeah, that was my mum. I've never put shoes on the table.
Why would you put them on the table?
No, I don't know either. I guess if you like brought them like new, like you could possibly put them on the table like with your bags, maybe.
Maybe.
Or if you're laying back and you're putting your feet up on the table.
I don't know. Sense. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, you know, like where you sit at. Yeah, rather than just taking off your shoes and putting them on the table. Although
that would be weird.
We did. No, I didn't. Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And a bit gross.
Now, Melbourne has just come out of lockdown, so we're starting to go out to restaurants again. So this one applies. Tipping salt over.
Yes, over your left shoulder.
Yeah, so if you knock the salt over on the table, you're supposed to take it with your right hand and throw it over your left shoulder to undo the bad luck of knocking the salt over. And that's like, I'm one of those people, like if someone bumps the salt, I'm like, quickly grab it, throw it. They're like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, throw it.
Do it. I've got to do it. Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
Yeah. I know, that's it.
Oh my God. But yeah, so that's one that I am a bit of a sucker for.
I do that one too.
When was the last time you walked under a ladder?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I never do.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. Like I'm not a believer in that one, because I'm like, sometimes you have to, like, there's no other way. Because like if you're doing, like, for example, if you're doing Christmas lights, because we're coming into Christmas season and you're up and down that ladder all the time, sometimes you end up walking under it because the lights can get tangled and da-da-da. Like,
no, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay. Miss Perfect, who doesn't get tangled.
There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways. See, but because I'm conscious of it, I make sure that it doesn't go, that I have to go under it.
Oh my God, you're funny. You're funny. Okay, so how about this one?
Okay.
Black cat crossing your path.
Oh, yes. I don't like this one because I have a black cat and I love black cats.
So do I. We used to have a black cat. Well, although technically if the sun was shining on her fur, on his fur, if it was shining really brightly, it will look like really dark brown.
Yeah, like it's got that kind of almost like Lou's got a little bit of like that reddish tinge.
So it is black to look at, but I wonder if it really is black. But anyway.
Yeah, I wonder.
And now this one, if you're ever traveling to Sweden, I'm going to actually ask one of my friends because she's Swedish, laying keys on the table.
Oh, no, I do that.
So if you go to a restaurant, you put keys on the table. I don't know whether it's,
restaurant. I do it at home sometimes.
I would guess it would be something to do with like implying that you were in a rush or that you had to leave? Like that's why your keys were out. You couldn't just put them away.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. Maybe that's just speculation, guys. That's not fact checked at all. That's just I'm
Yeah, a
trying to
bit
guess
kind
why it
of
would
like
be.
the watch kind of thing,
Yeah.
having that meaning. Yeah.
Okay, let's change things up.
Okay.
Things that are considered good luck. Now, this list could go on forever, but I've picked the more
Oh,
common.
I've got one more. I've got one
Oh.
more about that was from an ancient one back in ancient
Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
Look at
What are
you
those?
go.
Right. Eclipses.
Oh,
Eclipses were
yes.
often seen as quite a bad omen, and through what it would be was that it was the fate of the king. They would think that the king was going to die.
Did they not know that eclipses were a common occurrence?
Apparently not. Well, I guess if you look at it from back, like I'm talking ancient sort of times and stuff as well, the sun was like the life-giving premise, and if it suddenly disappeared during the day, because that's where all their food and everything come from, I guess. I don't know.
Actually, that you know what? I have heard that in a lot of ancient civilizations that was considered a bad omen.
Because I guess really you think about it, like even here we get like very partial. So not everywhere you get a full eclipse every time. So I guess it wasn't as often as what we kind of think. So so the king, it was like the fate of the king or death of the king. So what would happen is often the king, the royal family would step down.
Oh.
Yes. And anoint a substitute.
Just for that?
Yes.
So that person would die instead.
So then they die, and then the royals are waiting in the wings to come back and they can reclaim the throne.
Wow. That's some Games of Thrones shit right there.
Yep. Isn't it?
I love it.
Just chuck a little substitute in.
I would have thought they would have like sacrificed a virgin or something. Like,
no,
wrong
I
culture.
know. No, but that's often, no, it was get rid of the king, but let's not really get rid of the real king. The real king didn't really want to get done, so.
But then what happened if the person lived? Did they off them?
I don't know. I have a feeling they did, because it said when I was looking it up, and they were killed. and then the real king would come back.
Wow. Okay.
So I'd have to look into that a bit more, but I wonder if then it was a sacrifice almost.
Possibly. Well, it was common in those days to sacrifice for various different gods and deities and stuff and whatnot to appease the universe.
Yeah, but there's a lot around eclipses and things. So yes, let's get on to the good ones now.
Good ones. So the number 8 in Chinese culture, because it sounds like when you say the word 8 in their language, but I'm guessing this is going to be, actually, wait. But. So Bart, I don't know how to say the word fortune, but I'm guessing it's going to be similar to Bart, because Bart is how you say 8 in Chinese, both in Mandarin. Wait, some say so it's also in Cantonese, and so it's in Mandarin as well. So that was me just counting really quickly from 1 to 10. I only know how to count to 10 and say random phrases around Chinese New Year.
It sounds impressive. I'm impressed. It's all good. Take it.
So number 8 is considered fortune, because it sounds the same. So that's why they always, a lot of Asian people or Chinese people specifically will pay extra money to have a lot of 8s in their phone number, or to have their house at number 8, or their apartment number 8, or level number 8 of the building, or if their number plate has 8s in it. Like I've seen someone here, they had their first initial, last initial, and then 88888. Like that was their number plate.
I love that.
It's very ingrained in their culture.
Yep.
And also 88, I believe, looks like the double happiness. Like it looks like happiness, 88. I think I'm pretty sure that's also another one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Sticking with Chinese. So you've also have bamboo is considered lucky.
Yes.
So they have that lucky bamboo.
I was going to say, that you can get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I killed them. I killed them. Does that mean my luck's right?
Did you overwater it?
I think I underwatered.
Oh. Now you're going to get bad luck.
I know.
And another one for their culture is jade. Jade is considered extremely good luck. So I am a massive fan of jade anyway. Like I actually happen to have some right here.
Right here. Here's what I prepared earlier.
Yeah. So I love jade. So I got some jade when we went to Shanghai. We got this like jewelry piece, which I don't wear often because it was expensive. Because it was like hardcore jade, like, good quality jade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we might as well stick to Asia and then we'll circle back. So in Japan, manekineko. So manekineko is that little cat that does this with its
claw. Yeah. He's a little doo-doo.
So the reason for that is because manekineko is he's raking in the money. That's what he's doing. He's pulling the money in.
Bringing his hand down, bringing it back in.
Yeah, so he's raking in the money. So his hands swinging up and down. Chris finds them creepy. That's my husband. When we go to Japanese restaurants and they have manekineko, he's like, ugh. Like he looks away. He's like, of course, when we went to Japan, I took him to a shop where they only sell manekineko. And I said, let's go to this shop. Walked in and he's like, ah! And he walks straight back out.
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm such a bitch.
I love it. I would so do that too.
Then in Thailand, it's considered good luck to see a white elephant.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually a good luck symbol. So when you see white elephants, because they're obviously not common to have an albino or white elephant.
Yeah, that's right.
In Korea, it's very good luck to see a swallow.
Oh.
So swallow as in the bird.
Yeah.
Then, okay, now these are all, the rest of these are going to be pretty common knowledge. So this one I know is very personal to you. Tortoiseshell cats.
Yes. I have a beautiful tortoiseshell cat.
So is the tortoiseshell cat to balance out the black cat?
Yes. Yeah, see, so we're at neutral. We're in neutral.
Did you even know that when you selected this?
No, I didn't know. Well, my tortoiseshell, she's one of my older cats. So we've had her a lot longer. She's 15. And Luna, the black cat, she's about to turn 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, I didn't actually know that. No. No.
Now, let's go to Mary Poppins. Chim chimney. So it's actually common practice that seeing a chimney sweep is very good luck. I wonder though, does that mean that we have no more luck because
we're out
chimney sweep anymore?
No. Is that just because then you'd have heat? Like
I don't know.
Be efficient, I guess.
I don't know. But there's like a whole culture. Like, I mean, Mary Poppins, that whole scene around
it was.
The good luck of seeing a chimney sweep, it was considered lucky to see them. Now, this one is very common across the globe as well. Ladybugs.
I love ladybugs.
Especially when they land on you or when you see them or whatever.
Yes.
But isn't there a thing that they have to land on a certain side, the left side or right side, or is it not?
Oh, I didn't know that. I
don't know. Maybe it's not.
Just to have them land on you.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be.
Now, this is obviously Native American culture. This one, dream catchers are considered a good luck sign or good omen. Obviously, now just to acknowledge that, yes, some places do practice what's called cultural appropriation, and they, I mean, I myself have learned how to make dream catchers as a craft activity. For personal use, it's as a sign of like honoring the tradition.
Yeah.
And creating something myself, but like out of respect, which is more cultural appreciation rather than cultural appropriation. But it's when people go out there and mass produce them and then,
making
make money from them.
Yeah.
Because I really do appreciate and like dream catchers. I think they're beautiful.
I think they're really gorgeous. And I love the story and the sort of symbology behind them and how it works. And it's also a really lovely thing. Being a mum, it's also a really lovely thing to be able to incorporate in a child's room and things like that.
Yeah, because
it's that whole thing about that whole thing. Yeah,
it's also that element of it's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy. You tell them they have a dream catcher, which means that they're not going to have bad dreams, and then they don't have bad dreams.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's it.
So 4-leaf clothers.
Yes.
Like how many times as a kid if you came across clovers, did you go looking for a 4-leaf?
Yes, I always did. Do you know, I still never found one.
Really? I found one once. I found one once.
Did you?
And I grabbed it. I'm like, oh my God, I found one. And I was running around. And in my haste of running around, one of the leaves fell off.
Oh, no.
Because I was waving it around like crazy. And then one of the leaves fell off. I was like,
no.
But because I actually then grabbed the leaf and I put it in a little plastic container. And I had it there. And that was my good luck charm.
So it was all in there together. Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
Now, we've already touched on the horseshoe one back when we spoke about the bad omens.
Yeah,
Rabbit's foot. Yeah,
I don't quite get that one.
I don't get it either. Carrying a rabbit's foot is a good luck thing. Like, I don't know.
It's just kind of gross.
It is. It is gross. Yeah,
I don't know, and I don't really understand. I don't know the story behind it either.
Either do I. I don't know. It's a
like
weird
how that
one.
came to be.
Yeah. And then the last one that
But
I
it's
have
a
on my
common one.
list, as I said, this is not an exhaustive list, guys. There's plenty more, but the last one that I have is the wishbone. So when you're cutting
Yes.
up a chicken,
Yes.
and if you ended up with the wishbone, then you're supposed to like grab it with your little finger and then
Pinkies.
break it. Yeah, the pinkies.
Yeah, you got to use your pinkies.
And then you snap it, and then whoever gets the big half is the one whose wish comes true,
Yeah.
isn't it? Or do you do it with yourself? I can never remember.
No, we always did it with somebody else.
Yeah.
So whoever got the bigger part was the
Makes
one that
a
got
wish.
to make the wish. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, actually, with four-leaf clovers, I forgot to mention that in Ireland, all shamrocks, which is what they call a clover, all shamrocks are considered good luck, not just four-leaf ones.
Not just four-leaf ones.
We're the ones who then made it four-leaf only because
to make it a bit more rare.
Well, I'm thinking that because like whilst they might be common in some parts of the world, maybe they're not as common in Ireland. I don't know, but they consider shamrocks to be because like all Irish symbols usually have shamrocks on them.
They do, yeah.
Like I think even the Boston Celtics, like their thing is a clover.
It's a clover.
So that's our good luck and bad luck, or superstitious, or whatever you want to call it, omens and signs. So let's just talk about the concept of what denotes a sign. So
yes,
Vicky, talk me through this. If I said, universe, give me a sign, and all of a sudden I saw a bird flying past me, is that a sign?
No, because first off, with animals, I think for starters, they aren't just here for us. They're on their own.
Not for our entertainment, not for our omen confirmation.
No, nothing. They're on their own. They've got their own agenda, their own journey, their own thing. So I don't think just always animals are particularly. For me, it's more if it's a very unusual. So if it's like out of season, because I mean, the other thing you've got to look for especially with animals, is say, for instance, like we mentioned before, like at the moment here in Australia, there's a lot of magpies around. So if you were to say that was a sign, you got to kind of look and see, like, is it their time of the year to be around where they're more prolific? So if you saw a snake in summer, it's not as
living
much
here, not an omen.
Not in Australia,
especially where I live.
Yeah, because you see them. But if you saw it maybe in winter or something like that, where they're normally hibernating and things like that, that may be a bit more. So usually sign is when it's more than once as well, and in one.
It has to be a repeated sighting.
Yeah, like a repeated. So maybe if it was an animal in particular, if you saw a snake when you were going for your walk, three times during the week you saw a snake when you were walking, then when you were doing meditation or in a dream you saw one, you saw it on a poster or TV or something like that, that's when it's more of a sign. So it needs to be more than one occurrence, and usually different ways of seeing it, not just that same kind
multiple
of thing.
Different medium essentially.
Different medium, that's the word I'm looking for.
It's like when I've had an instance where, what was it, I'm trying to think what it was now. I was asking for a particular sign, and now I'm trying to think what it was. At the time, I think we were in LA, and I was trying to find something, and then I was asking universe for a sign, and then I looked up where we were walking. As I looked up, because I was talking to my friends and and then I just said to universe, I said, just give me a sign. I just want to buy something like meaningful from this place. I looked up and there was graffiti in front of me, and I'm like, oh, okay, is that my sign? No. When I looked at the graffiti was of a woman, and she was pointing. I followed my gaze and I saw a shop. I had no idea what the shop was or what it sold, but I went to the shop anyway. And when I walked in, it was this cute little, like, all new age crystals, books, incense, whatever. I walked in there. And I'm like, okay, but this could just be coincidence. So I said, okay, universe, if I'm supposed to be in this shop, I want you to, when I walk in this shop, I want to see something that's going to mean something specifically to me.
Yes.
As soon as I walked in, there was a massive statue of Kuan Yin, which I have a statue of Kuan Yin in my house. So I'm like, okay, not enough though. I want to see one more sign.
Yep.
I want to see another sign that I was meant to be here.
Yep.
And I was drawn intuitively towards the bookshelf, and the first book that I noticed on the shelf was a book by Christopher Penchak, and he's my favorite author.
Yes,
as most of you know.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, universe, cool, I'm in the right place. And then I think I asked another question. because I know I didn't want to book. I can't remember, but I asked a series
Something
of
else.
questions for a
Yeah.
series of signs, and they happen in the right order of when I asked for them.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting to a point where I actually bought this little cluster of crystals.
Oh.
The guys who are listening, if you check out
Yeah.
YouTube, you'll see it. But essentially, it's got this particular cluster has got lapis lazuli, which I love because lapis is very Egyptian based. It's to do with like psychic insight. It's got amethyst, which I also work with a lot. It's got malachite, which is actually the stone of Chris, my husband. That's his favorite.
Ah.
It's got what do you call it? Black obsidian, which is the stone I use the most, and then it has a little crystal point of clear quartz. So it's like all of the stones that I use a lot, and they were all in this little
and it's
cluster.
such an unusual, and it's
Yeah.
such an unusual little thing as well. Like you don't normally see them like that.
No, and then so I ended up buying this on this string, and I sometimes wear it as a necklace. I won't put it on now because I got headphones. So what am I doing?
it'll all kind of get everywhere.
But yeah, so that's I wanted something to
love
remember
that.
it, and this
Yeah,
is what I ended up buying
definitely.
because it's all the crystals that I use on a regular basis.
Yep, all in one. See, I
So
love that. So yeah, that's what it is. It's with the signs. It's more repeated and unusual. Like because
yeah.
a lot of times we try to find meaning in a lot of things that happen, and where sometimes it probably isn't. I mean, I know I went through a phase for a long time where I was like, oh, what does that mean? Oh, what does this mean? Oh, this is falling in front of me. Oh, this has come here. And I'm like, just stop. Sometimes things just happen. So it's that repeated and unusual. Like, but then I've also got an example a bit like yours. I did a guided journey. It was to meet an animal spirit. And when I was actually in it, I was from the view of being the animal. So I couldn't actually see myself for what I was. I could only feel what I was. I can't think what that is, third person, first person, all that sort of stuff. But I could only feel, and I knew that it was like a big cat or a big dog or something like those kind of things. I knew it wasn't a wolf, and I remember thinking that, but I didn't know what it was. And I came out of it, and I still didn't know when I came out. The first thing I saw when I opened my eyes, I looked at a book, and it was by Tiger Publishing. I'm like, oh. And so then something, as soon as I heard that, it kind of resonated, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. So then I got out my Animal Oracle deck, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll see if I can pull out a card if that's going to give me a bit more insight. So I asked for a bit more insight, got the Tiger card come out as well straight away. So for me, that feels more like it's
That's a sign.
because, that's a sign, because it was the first thing I saw when I opened my eyes from the meditation. And then it was also, I asked for that confirmation afterwards, and it came out again. So I think that's what it is as well, a little bit like asking yourself first, is there a mundane reason for this?
Yeah.
Is there something?
Like if you're in if your bookshelf was only by Tiger Publishing, the whole bookshelf of books, or you only had one book in front of you, different.
That's right. But I have many books. And it's also one that I never even noticed that it was Tiger Publishing ever. Like, it's a book I've seen and never even noticed it. So yeah.
I'd say that would denote a sign.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, because obviously when you have like because we already touched on the fact that when it's a change in season, then that can affect whether you're more likely or less likely to see something.
That's right.
I touched on a previous episode that when where I live is the catch and release zone for a lot of Victoria's snakes.
Yeah.
So for us to see snakes, very common.
Yeah, that's it.
Very, very common.
Yeah.
It's like, so we have this thing where, and I love this about our community, is that we work in harmony with like the snakes, that we don't honor them, but we respect them.
Respect them.
Because we know that they're in this region. So we just give them the distance, and we post on our Facebook group to let everyone know there's a snake there so that they don't bother them, essentially. Because it's like, if I was to look for signs whenever I see wildlife, like literally next to my house is a botanical gardens. We have bandicoots, echidnas, wallabies, kangaroos, like constantly in our street.
Yeah, that's it.
I know that I'm now fulfilling all of the stereotypes that an American.
I know. That's what I was thinking, like having a kangaroo jumping down the street.
But I literally live in a place where that happens. But it doesn't happen everywhere. It's because I'm in a like rural urban fringe. Like I'm right on the edge of suburbia.
Yeah. And and I'm the same, because we live across the road from a park, and there's lots of gum trees and there's lots of trees. So in the evening, in that twilight, it's beautiful. We have so many different kinds of birds and things that are flying over and nesting and doing all their little things. So if we were to constantly look at that, it's not really a sign
Yeah.
because it's usual. It's that unusual aspect
exactly.
to it. It's the
For
unusual.
example, if you see crows or ravens on midnight, not a sign because
No.
they're there to scavenge. They know
That's
that
it.
it's midnight and they're there to eat.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you see them repeatedly on non-midnights in the
And
same,
at
like in the
different
same,
places,
yeah,
or
or it might even be that, like for example, I would always see when I was a kid, coming home from school, there would always be a magpie. I know that's common, but I would always see a magpie, and it would fly from the tops of the trees on my property down in front of me to the neighbor's place every day after school for a week. It would fly the same path while I'm walking.
while you're going through.
It would just
It's
go
that
past once.
the repeated thing as well.
Exactly. Although when I look at that, oh, so that's actually in our good luck omens, a bird flying from right to left, because it would fly from my property.
Oh,
to their property.
yes.
So it was actually flying from right to left. I'm like, oh,
There
if only
you
I knew that back
go.
then.
See, back then, and then like now, magpies are actually sort of considered something to do with more like the occult world and opening of the door to the spirit world.
See, I actually love magpies.
See, I do too.
I love how they sing.
Oh, I do too.
The
See, we
magpie
have some,
song first thing in the morning,
it's
beautiful.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Like, I have some that we feed sometimes out there, and so they come and sit in the, like when I'm gardening, they'll just come and sit with me and sit on the fence and stuff and start doing their little beautiful little song.
How's it go? How's it go?
I'm not like, I'm not doing that again. But like also at my mum's house, they had a family, like they've lived there for probably about 20 years. So it's been like this whole generational thing that they've fed them, and they're the same. They just come around, they'll sit in the garden with you and whatever. So I like it.
Here we go. Here's an example.
Go for it.
Oh, hang on. I don't want the ad. Stupid YouTube. Hang on. It won't let me skip the ad.
No, I was going to say it won't let you do it.
Hang on. Here we go.
There.
Oh, is it? Anyway, so that's the sound. It's because
that's the sound. And see, there's something so homely about that sound for me. I love it.
Yeah, I actually love it. I love waking up to the sound of magpies. So when the magpies are singing, it's like I know that spring's here. I also know it's a warning. It's swooping season soon. But yes, so
yeah. Do you know I never get swooped? I never get swooped.
I get swooped. Not all the time. When I was a kid, I used to get swooped
young?
a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be quite vicious.
Okay, so we've touched a little bit on animal signs. Obviously, there can be good or bad omens, and also some people think that they're deity representations as well.
Yes. Yep. Which I mean, they can be, but again, it's that same thing. It needs to be repeated, unusual, the whole thing. So it could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, just because you see a crow doesn't necessarily instantly mean that.
Hecate.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't.
Or Hecate, whatever.
Yeah. Again, I think it's also about did you ask something? Like, what did you ask? What guidance were you looking for? To then be able to interpret the sign a little bit as well.
It's different if you did like, for example, if I was doing a spell and in that spell I called upon Hecate or Odin or people that are known for having ravens as being a symbol of theirs. And see, actually, so here's the thing. In Australia, ravens are not common at all. No. Crows are,
but ravens
But there's a huge difference between a crow and a raven.
Yeah.
So because of that, like if I did something specifically working with Odin and then I went outside and it was not like I just randomly kept seeing them everywhere, that's different.
Yeah.
Because I specifically was working with the energy of someone who
so I think that's it. I think that's also something as well, to really have a look at what you're thinking, what you're doing in your life. What have you actually asked for?
Actually, so this is going to be a shout out to one of our friends. So Jackie, a friend of mine, I hope she's listening. So Jackie actually told me a story once where she specifically, because she's very much into all this stuff, and she said to universe, give me a sign, but I want to specifically see a butterfly. And if I see a butterfly, that would be my sign. Within
Yep.
seconds, a butterfly flew past. She goes, okay, cool. I want to see a sign. I want to see a red car. And then a red car went driving past on this crossover street. And then she's like, I don't remember. I'm making up the actual signs. I know butterfly was one of them, but she literally
what they were.
listed all these, like, I think she did like 5 different things in a row. And she said,
Yep.
I want to see this. And then it would happen.
Yeah.
But then I asked the question, is it a sign or is she a master manifester? Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Because a master manifester, because my husband is a master manifester. That's why I tell him he needs to watch his thoughts constantly, because as soon as he thinks something, it happens.
That's when it happens. Yeah.
So I wonder whether maybe she was like, this is what I mean. Like, I don't know. There's no way to know. It's up to the individual.
It's all up to interpretation.
You'll never know. It's not like you can just dial universe and say, hi, universe, was that a sign or did I make that happen?
That's it. Was it me or was it you?
Hello, universe, are you there?
Are you there?
Okay, so what about when doing spell work? Because this is actually a common one that I've seen in the Australian witchcraft group. Like, not that common. And there's that one as well as there's another one, Witch Den for Men, which I'm in. And people often get in there and they're like, oh, I was doing a spell last night and I was doing candle magic and the candle kept flickering.
Yeah.
I think it's a sign. And I'm like,
yeah, there's a lot with candles.
Yeah, because the wick could have been too short and the flame was touching the wax and that's why it was flickering. Or it could just be a poor quality candle. It could have been draft, could have been many different things.
Yeah, there's a lot with candles. And that's what you got to look at. Again, it's temperature. Same with like glass, candle glass. If it's cracked, was it like a temperature drop? Is the wick too close to the actual glass itself? How candles are made has a really huge thing. If it's the wrong size wick for the candle, like if it's too small, it's going to pull really little in the middle. So then it's going to have a lot more wax there, which will put it out, and it'll curl. The wick will curl over, and there's so many things. So you have to kind of
eliminate all the anomalies.
All the kind of mundane reasons for what it could be. And then if it is, so like, for instance, if you had 2 candles that were made exactly the same, they were exactly the same candles, exactly the same color, one did something and the other one didn't, then I'd be kind of thinking, okay, maybe because they're in the same position. But it can be something as simple as a little draft or even breathing. You know,
oops, I breathed too much.
So if you're doing your deep breathing, so candles is a big one. It has to be a really big thing and a very, very unusual thing for it to actually be a bit of a sign, I think, personally, because there's a lot with that. Yeah, there's a lot with that. And that goes with all signs. Like, you've really got to stop and go, is there just an everyday reason for this? Like I said, temperature, season for animals and things like that, drafts for candles, all of those kind of things. There's so many, especially candles, there's so many variables that are just chemical and really boring.
Now, I know this next topic I was going to bring up, we could actually talk about in a whole episode on its own, which maybe we might even do this at a later date, but hexes and curses.
Yes.
So many people, they're like,
be good
when they think, oh my God, I'm cursed. But like, I tend to find that most curses and hexes, or like, they see all these bad omens and they think they've got a curse. They're actually manifested by fear.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like almost a self-cursing kind of thing as well. We're a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, that's not to say that hexing and cursing isn't a thing, or that in some cases that is what it is. But I think in majority and many of the cases, when people think, oh, I've been attacked, or there's a curse on me or a hex, whatever. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot to do with that self-doubt and fear, and just having that thought creates it.
And how it links back to this is that when people think that they're cursed, they're going to look for reasons to confirm that they're cursed. It's the same thing as like, if you're looking for a sign, you're more likely to see it. It's like on a simple mundane level. When was the last time that I went to buy a car?
Yeah.
I test drove a whole heap of cars. As soon as I had my heart set on a Honda Jazz, which for those in North America, it's called a Honda Fit. So as soon as I had my heart, because I have friends in America and they were like, a Jazz, what the hell is a Jazz? I'm like, you guys call it a Fit. And they're like, oh, that's a really cool car. Here, it's a very, jazz hands.
I was going to say.
But there it's like Honda Fit. Like it sounds really like
yeah, it sounds really
fitness, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like it. I like both. I like both.
It's
Anyway,
so fun.
but as soon as I had my heart set on the Honda Jazz, I
Oh.
literally saw them everywhere.
Yeah.
Because like you want it, therefore you are. So this is the thing. Okay, you guys know I work as a coach, right? So I have this practice that I teach my clients when I'm doing life coaching or health coaching or any form of coaching with them. Spiritual coaching doesn't matter. I do this thing. It's called like basically rehearsing your day or the mental rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's because we say like it's a whole thing about saying affirmations in the morning and, you know, all these I am statements and blah, 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 because they say that on a subconscious level, when you tell yourself something over and over and over, and you affirm something to your psyche, your brain is geared towards confirmation bias. So if I say to my brain, I'm going to have a bad day, today's going to be such a shit day, it's going to be such a bad day, oh my God, it's going to be a bad day, your brain will look for instances out there in the mundane world that confirm, yes, today is a shit day. And it would just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. However, that like that law of cause and effect, the equal and opposite. Yeah. So there is also the adverse or the inverse works as well. So if you say inverse, inverse works as well, which is if you say today's going to be an amazing day, it's just going to be so awesome. Like I'm just going to get so much done. Like you put all this positivity out there, your brains are going to find confirmation to say, yes, it's a good day, which then fuels your like, you know, positivity throughout the day.
Yeah. That's
and
it.
I know
keeps it going.
Some people out there might be like, oh, this is a whole bunch of woo-woo. It's not. It's like...
No, it is. It's actually, even like when I was studying counseling and part of that sort of stuff.
Psychology,
psychology and things like that, is that it's the same. Like if we have a negative thought or a negative core belief or something like that, our brain is constantly doesn't like to be wrong. So it's going to constantly try to prove itself right all the time. And so that's when we see, like, I remember when I wanted for a while there, I wanted a purple car. Back when I was a teenager, when I was getting like one of my first cars, I wanted to have a purple car. And it's not that often, you don't see it. But then as soon as I said that, it's very uncommon. I saw them everywhere. They were everywhere. You see purple.
It's like the universe going, look, you what?
Look, hello. Yeah. But it is that same thing. Like you're constantly looking. Your brain doesn't want to be wrong.
Exactly.
So it's constantly trying to prove itself right.
I know this is a bit of a tangent, but we love a good tangent.
We love a tangent.
So when you said purple car, like there's that game that you used to play, like that Spotto Yellow. It's like if you spot a yellow car and you had to call it out first.
Yeah.
But in Victoria, our taxis are all yellow. So not as much fun in a place that has common. No,
that's no fun. That's no fun.
Well, then there was that other cool game that we used to play when we were on car trips, was that punch buggy. When you see a little
we used to play that.
VW buggy, like punch buggy, no returns.
Yeah.
Oh, the things you do as kids.
I know. Yes, you do.
Any excuse to punch your siblings.
I was about to say it's pretty much just any way that you could bring it into a game.
Exactly.
This is the way to go. But
so I was going to say for hexing and curses, maybe we'll do that as an episode on its own.
Yeah, I would love to do that as an episode.
Because I think that would be a really fun one.
Yeah.
I say fun because I think a lot of people will find it interesting.
Yes, definitely.
What makes a curse and what makes not a curse.
Correct.
Or what a curse makes not.
And you know... Yes, Yoda. And I mean, a lot of people will say that, like, before you can heal, you need to know how to curse.
Exactly.
Like, to be able to undo something, you need to be able to understand it. But in the context of this, I do think that a lot of times, like you said, that it's a self-imposed kind of thing.
So that then brings me to my next topic, because this was rampant when we did tarot together.
Yes.
So angel numbers.
Yes.
So I kept saying so. Stop saying so.
So
angel numbers. I see 111, 222, 333, 1111, 1212, 555, like specifically time on a digital clock. I see them all the time, like all the time.
Me too.
And some people, they're like, oh, you know, there are different thoughts out there. Some people think it's just an omen that the angels are watching and that the angels are like there for you or whatever. They actually, from my research, I mean, it's open to speculation. There's different reasons for people, like different people claim different things. I always believe that it's more of it's the angels or universe, like, because you guys know I say angel, universe, spirit, source, they're all same. God, Allah, that to me, that's the same. They're synonyms. Yeah. So for me, it's their way of confirming whatever it is I'm thinking.
Yes.
Because I'm always deep in thought. I'm an ocean. There's heaps of depth there.
There's a lot of depth.
I'm always deep in thought. So when I see 111, 222, 333, 444, blah blah blah, for me, it's confirming whatever I'm thinking. So that's why, if anything, it teaches me to watch my thoughts.
Yeah. It's that awareness, being conscious of our thoughts.
Because you never know when you're going to think something negative, and then you see 555 and you're like, shit. Damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah. So I do it. Yeah. I notice them as well. I'm the same. I see it's always on a clock. So mine are a lot of like 111s, 1111s, 3s, 2s, and 5s. I see.
So I have a book here called Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. So for those that don't know Kyle Gray, I'm doing a bit of a campaign to see if I can get him on the show. Because I would love, because Kyle Gray, I believe that I call him the angel whisperer, because he is just amazing. Like, he talks to the angels, he talks about angels, everything's to do with the angelic realm. Other things too, like, he's obviously has many different things that he believes in, but like, I just call him the angel whisperer because he's just so amazing at it. And I have so many of his books about talking to angels and whatnot. But anyway, this book specifically is all about his interpretation of angel numbers. And he has a little bit of a quick code, which you will know this, being that you've studied tarot with me.
Yeah.
So a lot of this has a lot of synergy with tarot. So angel numbers key codex. So the number 0 often represents new beginnings, doors opening, or it can be representative of God.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, I say that God is God, universe, source, spirit, all things, universal.
Yep.
1 can represent the self, oneness, higher self, or universal connection. So if you think of the mages, you could associate 1 with the magician. Yeah. And whereas the 0 is the full, new beginnings, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Now, the 2 represents union, connection to others, and aligning with love. If you think of the 2s in the minors, and then also the 2 in the majors as well, it has a very similar connection. 3 is indicative of expansion, higher power, and the masters.
Yeah.
Then we have 4 is the angels, communication, gifts, and expanding. 5s represent changes, effort, action, and input required. 6s is balance. I always think of the 6 of Pentacles when I hear that. Balance.
Yep.
Intention required and carefulness. 7 is magic manifestation and divine inspiration. 8 is the journey, growth, and spiritual lessons. And 9 is self-mastery, union with higher self, and divine feminine. So that's like obviously just on a very basic level, the numbers. But then for digital clocks, so he actually has a section.
Oh, he even has a section on digital clocks.
So you said that you see 1111?
I see 1111 and 111.
111 and 1111.
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
1111 is a big one.
That's a big one for a lot of people, which is
and
why
333.
Which is why this episode is we released this episode on the 11th of the 11th.
Yep.
Because 1111.
1111.
We're talking angel numbers. To me, that was a perfect one. But it's episode 13. So we're talking about omens.
That's right.
And by the way, guys, that was not out. We didn't intentionally do that. That was
it actually just
divine timing.
Yeah.
But then when we realized it, we're like, it's meant to be episode 13 on 1111.
That's what we're doing.
So 1111 says you are one with God, angels, and ascended masters. Align your thoughts with the highest goodness and truth in order to bring love into the world.
Oh, that's nice.
That's very nice. And then 111 is your thoughts and intentions are magnified at this time. Focus on what you love, not what you fear.
So always be careful. Again, like you said.
Be careful what you wish for. Because he talks about triple numbers. He talks about numbers in sequence like 1212 or or that kind of thing. He talks about mirror numbers, so 1221.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Progressing numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3 or 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And then he's got angel numbers from 0 to 999. Obviously, we're not going to go through them all because that's a lot of numbers to go through. But
definitely.
But you can use this book. Like, I like it because you can use it as I just saw that number. And again, guys, it's not every freaking number that you see.
No, that's right.
But if you see the same sequence repeatedly,
yeah.
So I saw 1111 3 times in 3 days.
Yeah.
That's like the chances of looking at your clock at exactly 1111 3 times, or you see it in 3 different things. So one time it was 5:55 in the afternoon. I had 555 kilometers left before I had to fill up for petrol, and my odometer clicked over to, it was like I think
something
100,000 and 555 was the last two digits. I'm like, well, that's three very different things. 555. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I looked into it, and just while I'm thinking of that, it says 555. All your efforts are paying off. Abundance is yours to have, live, and experience. Open up your heart, arms, and mind to receive the blessings that are being offered to you now.
Aww.
And I was like, and at the time, I was actually thinking about, like, because I was driving, obviously, because I was in the car. I don't just sit in my car randomly.
Just chill out.
I was driving somewhere, and I was actually thinking about, like, where I was going to take my business and what I was going to do. And then to see 555, like, to me, that's confirmation.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oop,
that's
there
right.
It is. Oop, and there it is. Sorry.
We can't ever not do a song, can we?
No.
And I look, because I haven't always been into angels and angel stuff. So I also look at it from like a numerology kind of point of view as well. So you can look at it. So you can look at the numbers from like a numerology and what they mean. I'm definitely not really big like up on knowing everything about numerology at all.
I've just written it down as future episode numerology. We'll find someone who knows their stuff.
But yeah, that's something. So like 11 I know is like a master number and those sort of things. So you can look up that way as well. So looking up through numerology what the numbers are that you're constantly seeing to give you some kind of guidance.
So the reason why I'm not that I'm into angels, but my pathway to where I am now is actually because the psychic development classes and mediumship that I attended, my teacher, she was very much into Doreen Virtue. So we did a lot of work with the archangels and all that kind of stuff. And and then from that led to a deeper understanding of the occult and of my psychic development and because I was always interested in witchcraft, but that was kind of the avenue that was the most natural course.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm glad that Kyle Gray is around these days because
I like his cards as well.
I like his cards. I've got so many of his cards. So Kyle, if you're listening, we did this last time. We did this on our first episode. We said, Fiona, if you're listening, we want to have you on the show. So whilst you probably don't even know we exist, Kyle, I'm talking to you. And I'm calling upon all the archangels now.
We're looking for a sign.
So thank you, angels, for bringing Kyle to us in a future episode. There we go. I'm saying it as if it's happened. I'm thanking them, giving gratitude. It's not for me. It's for service to our listeners. I want the angel whisperer. It's not so that I can be 1 degree of separation from Kyle Gray, even though that would be amazing.
That's fine. But you did also then just bring up a really good point as well that we didn't touch on about signs and things like that. When you do get them, show gratitude. Say thank you.
Thank
you after you've received it. Yeah, like it. They're not just there. Like make sure you say thank you.
Do you know what I noticed though? As in, I don't know whether this is my lens because of having been in lockdown for so long. Because like. Vicky has had the joy of going around and doing things. Oh my God! I just looked at my clock. It's 11:11.
There we go. I love it. Scream.
I literally, no joke, because I was just tapping my phone to light it up to see what the time was, so I knew, how long we've been talking.
How long we've been going for? Because we like to talk.
And I literally just tapped the phone and it said 11:11. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but fuck off. Fuck off. Is this where this episode is airing on the 11th of the 11th? I'm here talking about the angels, talking about spirit, talking about signs, and then we see 11:11 on my motherfucking clock. I'm sorry.
There it is.
And I can't believe I just cussed as much as I just did. That's okay. My mum doesn't listen to this show. It's all good.
My mum does. She knows I swear a lot. Wait, don't worry.
What was your mum's name?
Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Hello, Mama.
We love you, Karen. Thank you for being one of our number one fans.
She is.
Yeah, no, and I'm cussing like a bloody sailor.
Oh, don't worry. She swears just as bad as I do. So okay.
Wait, what was I talking about there before? Oh, gratitude.
Gratitude. Yes. Yeah, so making sure you say thank you.
Having an attitude of gratitude. That's what I call it.
I like that.
So because anything I do, especially when it's like that, you don't ask the angels for something. You thank them for bringing the thing into your life as if it's already happened.
Yeah.
It's the same with any form of manifestation work. Saying I want this.
It only highlights that you're
lacking.
Highlights the lack.
Yeah, that you don't have it. So you always, every goal you write should be like, for example, when I do goal setting with my coach clients, I know another plug. Yes, guys, I'm a coach. But when I do that, it wasn't a plug, but why not?
Why not? Go for it.
So when I get them to do goal setting is all about writing it as if it's already happened. So for example, I will write it. Today is November 28th, 2020, and I have now achieved blah. I now have blah. I'm now doing blah. Whatever it is, as if you are already doing,
have it.
It's already happened.
Yeah.
You're writing it in future. You're saying it is now and a date in the future, but then it's already happened. So it's you're telling the universe this has to happen by that date. You're giving it a time frame.
Yeah, not this is what I want. This is what's happening.
Yeah. This is what's happening. I'm making the universe my bitch, and I'm just kidding.
We're sorry, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being my bitch.
Okay. Thank you.
But anyway, so so back to Kyle. If you're listening, I just saw 11:11, so I hope that's a good sign.
I was gonna say maybe that's a sign.
Anyway,
or are we looking into it too much?
Well, we could be, but what are the chances?
No, I think that's great. I think it's great.
Like I said to the angels, I'm asking you all to bring him onto this show, and then 2 seconds later, I tap my phone. It's 11:11. Yeah, there has to be a sign. We're doing the right thing. He's the angel whisperer. No, but in all honesty, the reason why we want to have him on the show, for those who are thinking, why him? Kyle Gray is, I think he's like the modern day version of, well, like Doreen Virtue was known as being the angel woman back in the day.
Yes.
Back in the day. So, and there's no judgment coming from me on the fact that she said that everything that she achieved was all hocus pocus and whatever else. It's no judgment. If she wants to change her path and, do what she did, that's up to her. It's not up to me to judge. I've accepted it now. At the time, I was very angry and I wanted to destroy all my books and throw away all my cards. But then I did the opposite because I found out that her Ascended Masters deck was actually going to be retracted. She actually put a thing out saying she wanted all publishers to retract them, to have them destroyed, because she believed that the only Ascended Master is Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So all the others are false deities. This is her words, not mine. Yeah. So she wanted them retracted. So I actually went out to a store and bought that deck before they found out that it was getting. Yeah. Now I keep them because once upon a time she believed in this stuff. And anyway, so I digress. Love and light to her, but now we have Kyle Gray, and I'm thankful for that because he gives it a very different lens, though. Like his approach to angel work is so. He
has a background in Wicca and things like that as well, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I know that he definitely he does tarot, and I'm pretty sure his background is very much in the witchy side of things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere it specifically said Wicca or.
But that's another thing. Actually, this is we will have to do a future episode on angels, and hopefully he'll be here for that. But even if he's not, look, I have got binders of information about the angelic realm because I used to very much play in that ballpark. Yeah. But this is another thing: is that a lot of witches, they don't work with angels because they think that they're Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, but see, guys, angels are non-denominational. You will see the same angels, Michael or Michael, will appear in the Torah, the Quran, and the Bible. He also appears in many pre-existing belief systems as an archangel. He is non-denominational. Yeah, so he's not associated with the church. It's just the church have really good PR people, and they have, they're like, it's true. The church just has really good PR team, and they're really good at kind of saying, he's ours. Yeah. The angels are ours. They belong to us, like cherubs and the seraphim and the Nephilim and all that. No.
All of them, no.
They belong to everyone.
Yeah, and that's true. And having said that, I do start to work with them. I do work with the archangels.
Archangels.
Why did I say that? Archangels.
Yeah.
Because there is that element as well from the Kabbalah and the aspect.
Well, because Kabbalah comes from the Judaism.
Yeah.
I always get it confused. Yeah.
Mysticism.
Exactly.
So it comes from that. So there is that kind of thing. But yeah, it's something within me that I need to work on.
It's okay. Look, and you know what? It's probably some past life stuff.
Yeah, and it is. I know there's a lot of past life stuff.
Because you were raised by hippies, right?
No, not really. But my mum's very open. Mum was always very open, and new agey and all of those things.
Sorry, Karen, love you.
I know. It was great because, and that was one thing I always loved about it as well. I wasn't baptized or anything like that because she said we, as if like apparently my dad and his side of the family really wanted it. She's like, it's hypocritical. We don't go to church. We're not church people. And I want her to be able to choose what she wants to believe.
Yeah.
So
that's lovely.
Yes.
But yes, to circle back.
Shout out to my mum.
Yes. Shout out to Karen. But yeah, so so the angels are not something to be feared. They're not.
No, definitely not.
And they also don't have to be this.
And they're not fluffy bunny. That's what I always thought for a while, that they're really fluffy and
like fat little kids with little wings. No,
and everything's all really lovely and lighty and all of that sort of stuff. But it's not.
No,
when you actually work with them, they're quite the opposite. And that's what I've discovered, and that's what I've worked with different ones through.
Well, because they appear. So as we touched on in previous episodes, spirit will always appear in a manner that resonates with us or that we can accept.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, so for example, my recent guide appeared very Egyptian because I'm very into the Egyptian stuff right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I have worked with other Egyptian gods and stuff before, but like it's like in particular now and what I'm going through in the journeying that I'm doing, it was the spirit to give me an Egyptian looking acting guide because of what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's why with the angels, a lot of people see them as these humanoid beings with massive wings. And that's kind of the common mythos that's out there in Hollywood, in books, and everything else like that. But like I know people that when they work with the angels, all they see is light energy, which is similar to when we had Tommy on the show and he was talking about the jinn, which are akin to the angels and all of them. There's a lot of crossover, and if not,
there is.
They may actually be the same beings. We just call them different names and different things for different people, depending on how they resonate with.
That's right. And what comes to them and what's going to resonate with them, which is also like with the signs and symbols and things like that, are placing meaning to things.
Yeah.
Not always looking to like books or other things. That's not to say that not to look there, or even angel numbers and angel things. Also, what does that mean to you? Because
exactly.
Seeing a horse might mean, I don't know, moving forward or whatever. For one person, it might mean strength. For somebody else, it might mean something completely different.
It might mean Hecate for someone else.
Yeah, that's right. So it's about really tapping into what does that mean to you and trusting your intuition. And
like a common one on that note is I find with snakes, like because a lot of people are scared of snakes. I don't know the phobia for that, but there is a phobia for having
I have it.
You have it. You're scared of snakes.
I am scared of snakes.
Okay, so don't come to my house in summer.
No.
But yeah, so some people are actually scared of snakes, but I myself am not scared of snakes because like I've seen so many, like where I live, they're everywhere, but also where we used to go caravanning as a kid, they were everywhere. So I don't get scared by them. I respect them enough to distance myself from them.
Yes.
But for me, because of all the studies that I've done in things like obviously with the Native American culture, snakes are very much about healing and about connection to earth, because and same in Asian culture as well, Chinese culture, they believe that the snakes, because they're rubbing their bellies on the ground, that they symbolize that connection to earth. And there's that, if you think of like a lot of cultures believe that they're representative of healing, and it's like that double snake.
Yeah, the double helix.
It's like their symbol of health, which is the two snakes and the sword.
The Cacodemus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Cacodemus. Whatever it's called.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
So they actually represent health. So for some people, seeing a snake in a dream is a symbol of health and of connection to earth and of all of the healing and all that kind of stuff. Whereas to other people, it's like a fearful thing.
Yeah, that's right. So
it's what it means to
you. That's right. Like you said, like spirit, universe, everything will come in a way that will resonate with you.
Well, and finishing off, let's play a little game then.
Oh, okay.
On that note, this is spontaneous. I just thought of this now.
Nice.
So what does an owl mean to you?
Wisdom and knowledge.
Funny, I think the same thing.
Yeah.
For me, the owl is all about wisdom and knowledge, which I believe, I mean, that probably comes from both of us have studied obviously about the Greek gods and stuff, and it was a symbol of Athena when she was the keeper of wisdom and blah, 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 blah. Okay, what about, let's just pick a random.
Yeah.
Okay, panther.
Oh gosh, that's a random one, isn't it?
That's actually my favorite animal.
Yeah, that's what I always call our kitty, because she wanders around and she looks like a little black panther when she goes around. I find them to be very, what's the word? Not cloaked, but like they're very
mysterious.
Mysterious is probably more the word. Yeah,
Hidden.
because I'm not so much sneaky, like because they can sort of prowl around and not be seen, and so maybe unseen.
Yeah, I
Unseen
can see
things.
that. So for me,
I
they've
also think,
often represented the feminine energy because they're black.
yes,
Like, and I
yeah,
associate
yeah,
that because obviously because my initial studies in craft were Wiccan based.
yeah,
So because obviously to me, but it's universally accepted that the black is the feminine and the white is
yeah,
the masculine. So for
yeah,
me, they represent femininity in its like divine
yeah,
feminine. I also think they represent the mysticism and that kind of mystery.
yeah,
Because they're
mystery.
quite a mysterious animal.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
yeah, because they're
that's what
kind
I
of
think
you
too.
don't see them.
No, that's what I was trying to. I'm like, I don't know what's the word for them, because they're not sneaky. It's not sneaky or anything like that. It's just that mystery, that
Mysterious, yeah.
mysterious thing, because you just see these little eyes.
Okay, what about a dolphin?
Dolphin, I always think really quite childlike and playful kind of energy.
Playful energy.
Yeah.
They say that it could represent like the breath because they're how they breathe.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
They could represent sound because they have sonar.
yeah,
Play,
yeah.
communication, and harmony.
Harmony, yeah, and like the family kind of aspect as well,
Hmm.
because they're very family.
Okay, what about bees?
Bees, busy little bees. I always see them as hard little workers.
Hard
Because
work.
yeah, like they're doing hard work, and also I know they're associated with particular gods and goddesses and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it's more about like, because they're very busy. They do their hard work. They're yeah. Work.
I've always associated them as well with things that are like
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, the sweetness.
Get out of my head! Get out of my head!
Yeah, because of the honey and everything.
We're so in sync. Okay, we already touched on horses because you said that it could be strength, could be mobility, all that kind of stuff. I always see them as like powerful and fast. Like to me, it's always about speed, and that also comes from tarot.
Yeah,
because anytime you see a horse in tarot, it's like a common
yeah.
thing for that one. Okay, let's go more Australian then. What does a kangaroo mean to you?
Jumping over life's hurdles.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It just came out with that. Also quite a maternal sort of thing, because they have their little babies in there.
They carry their babies. Yeah, they're joeys.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I always see them as things progressing forwards because they can't jump backwards.
No, yes.
Like, so for me, kangaroo is always about like move forwards, don't look back.
Yep.
So in other words, forget about the past, just move forward, just keep moving forward. And I guess for me, it's also about balance because their tail, their big ass tail. The whole purpose of that is to give them balance because they're like hopping at however many miles an hour for North Americans.
Yeah.
Or actually anyone that's not. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah. So like they're always hopping at such like fast pace that actually gives them their balance point. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really stands out to me. No. Okay. What about a koala? What would a koala mean to you? I have no reference material on this, by the way. I'm trying
to think. Koala. I always just see them cuddly.
Even though they're so not, they're vicious.
I know they're really not. They've got huge claws and everything. Slowing down, like it's like that kind of thing to sort of slow down, take note of what's around you, enjoy, savor what's going on.
I always see them as being, because they only eat eucalyptus leaves, so I see them as being like, for me, a koala would be representative of knowing what you want or what it's about that thing of, because they only want eucalyptus. I love that. It's that whole thing of just owning that's what I want. Like, it's just that. I don't want anything else. I want that. So for me, it's like, I don't know how to articulate that, but that's kind of how I see koalas.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's great.
For me, it's also about territory. Like, just it's okay. Like, because to me, I see them as very like hermits, because they usually live in a tree with no other koalas around. And if another koala tries to come on their tree, God forbid, you will hear them from a distance.
They make an awful noise.
Oh, that grunting.
Yeah, it is an awful noise.
I don't know. I won't try to look for some, but But anyway, okay, so I think that's about all for today's episode. I think this was a good episode. Yeah. If I do say so myself.
Let's pat ourselves on the back.
No, as in because we prepared a lot of stuff, but we've covered a lot of things. So obviously, guys, we want to hear from you though. I know we say this every episode, but we want to hear from you more and more and more and more. So let us know what resonated with you, what didn't resonate, what do you want to hear more about. If you want us to do a deeper dive on, like, for example, animal dreaming or animal work or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've already said we're going to have to do an episode on curses and hexes and another one on numerology because the topics came up.
Definitely.
I'll write down animals.
Yes, animals.
We'll do an episode on animals.
Animals.
But yeah, so let us know. Let us know.
We really want to hear.
And don't forget, given that today is the 11th, you guys have got today until midnight tonight to enter the competition that we posted last week. So it was last Wednesday on the 4th. We posted a competition with Sasha. So entries close midnight tonight, and we're going to be announcing the winner tomorrow. So if you haven't entered, you go back 2 episodes ago, you'll see the episode with Sasha, and there's a competition that we mentioned towards the end. Yeah. So that tells you how to enter the competition. We don't want to post it because we want you to bloody listen to the episode.
That's it.
But yes. So other than that, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah. Bye. Have an awesome week.